Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know we love getting into the nuts and bolts of trading.
Absolutely. Always exciting to see what people are using out there.
And today we're looking at AmiBroker,
Okay.
specifically for finding those stock trading opportunities. You know, the ones that get this all fired up.
Yeah.
You sent over some really interesting training videos and transcripts, all about AmiBroker stock scanning and exploration.
Right.
Now, these were originally in Thai,
Uh-huh.
but luckily for us, we've got those English transcripts.
Yeah, that's key.
So no worries there. So get ready, everybody, because we're going to dig into some cool tricks for using AmiBroker.
Sounds good.
One thing that really jumped out at me was this whole focus on last day data.
Right.
Why is that so crucial?
Well, you got to think about it. In the stock market, things change so fast.
Yeah.
You know, using data that's even a little bit old is like navigating with an outdated map.
Yeah.
You could miss out on some big opportunities or even worse, make decisions that lead to losses.
That's a great analogy. And the speaker in these videos really hammers this home. They even suggest manually setting the date in AmiBroker just to make absolutely sure the scan is using the most current data.
Right.
I mean, that sounds a little extreme, but
Right.
I guess it shows how much emphasis they put on accuracy.
It definitely shows you got to be in control, even with fancy software like this.
Absolutely.
You can't just blindly rely on it.
Right.
You have to understand what it's doing.
So, okay, let's assume we've got our data all squared away, the most up-to-date stuff.
Yep.
The training then jumps into two main ways to find stock picks in AmiBroker. They call them scan signals and exploration filters.
Yeah, those are the two big ones.
Can you break those down for us a little?
Sure. Scan signals is kind of like a quick and dirty way. Think of it like this. You have a set of rules.
Okay.
Maybe they're based on moving averages or whatever technical indicators you like.
Yeah.
These rules give you those buy or sell signals. The scan just takes those rules and runs them across all the stocks you're looking at.
Got it.
Then it spits out a table of results with all the details you need. You'll see the stock symbol, whether it's a buy or sell, even a suggested entry price.
So it's like a simple rule-based system for finding potential trades, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what about exploration filters? That sounds a bit more, well, exploratory.
It is. You get a lot more control with those. Like, imagine setting up a bunch of filters, like sieves, to sift through the entire market.
Oh, okay.
You can narrow it down to stocks that fit exactly what you're looking for, not just simple buy and sell signals either.
Interesting.
You can filter by all sorts of things: price to earnings ratio, market cap, what industry the company's in.
Wow, that's a lot.
You can even make your own custom filters based on specific indicator or combinations of factors.
So with exploration filters, you can really fine-tune your search, right? Get super specific.
Exactly. And here's something really neat. You can actually take your existing portfolio into account. You can create a watch list in AmiBroker.
They call it My Portfolio, I think.
Yeah, my portfolio. And then you can use that watch list to make sure you're not buying duplicates of stocks you already own.
Smart.
Or trying to sell something you don't even have.
So you're not accidentally doubling down on a position.
Right.
I see. So that's where that in-watch-list name function comes in, right?
Yeah, you got it. That function lets you check if a particular stock is already in your My Portfolio watch list. So let's say you've got a scan that's based on a buy signal. You can actually add that in-watch list name function right into your code.
Okay.
And that makes sure that a buy signal only pops up for stocks that are not already in your portfolio.
So it's like a built-in safeguard to prevent you from over-concentrating.
Precisely. And you can do the same thing for sell signals.
Make sure you're not selling something you don't own.
Yeah, exactly. It just automates those checks so you don't have to do them manually every time.
Much less room for error that way.
Absolutely. You always want to minimize those, especially when it comes to investing.
Right. I'm all about minimizing errors. And this reminds me of the color coding stuff we were talking about before. Another way to make things a little easier to grasp.
Oh, yeah. Visuals can be really helpful.
So what are some of the ways people can use color in AmiBroker?
Well, you can use conditional formatting to change the background color of the cells based on certain criteria.
Okay.
Like you could have green backgrounds for buy signals, red for sell signals, maybe yellow for neutral ones.
Oh, I like that. So you can quickly see what's what.
Yeah, it makes things stand out. You can also use color to show the values of different indicators.
Right.
So say you're looking at the MACD indicator, you could have green for positive MACD values, red for negative ones. You could even create a gradient where the color intensity shows how strong the signal is.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a heat map for your trades.
Exactly. But I guess you don't want to go overboard with colors and make things too cluttered.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. The speaker in the videos even mentions playing around with complex gradients using RGB values.
Oh, wow.
But in the end, they found that simpler color schemes worked better for them.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you've got so much data to look at.
So, okay, I've got a pretty good idea now about how to use AmiBroker to find potential stocks.
Right.
But the training also touches on this difference between back testing and exploration.
Yeah, that's an important distinction.
Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Sure. So imagine you've got your trading strategy all figured out
Oh.
using all these techniques we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Backtesting is basically taking that strategy and running it through historical market data.
Interesting.
It lets you see how it would have performed in the past.
So you're simulating trades based on your strategy.
Exactly. And that gives you a way to see what might have worked well and what didn't.
It's like a dress rehearsal for your trading strategy.
That's a great way to put it. And this is where you can really fine-tune things.
Okay.
You can tweak all the different parts of your strategy, like how much you risk on each trade,
Okay.
or where you set your stop-loss levels, even the specific indicators you're using.
Right.
You can see how all those changes affect the results.
So it gives you a chance to kind of optimize your approach.
Yeah.
See how it might have worked in different market conditions.
Right. But of course, it's not a perfect prediction of the future.
Of course not.
Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, as they say.
Right. The market's always changing.
Right, exactly.
So where does exploration come in?
Well, once you've back-tested your strategy
Mm.
and you're happy with the results,
Uh-huh.
that's when you use AmiBroker's exploration tools to apply that strategy to the current market.
Okay.
So you're taking what you've learned from the past and using it in the present.
It's like taking your show on the road.
Exactly. But it's important to remember, exploration is happening in real time. It doesn't have the benefit of hindsight like backtesting does.
Right.
You're making decisions based on the information you have right now, knowing that things can change quickly.
It really is a blend of historical analysis and real-time decision-making.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. You need both to be successful.
It really is a blend. And, you know, the source material also goes into some coding examples.
Yeah.
Especially around using that My Portfolio watch list.
Right.
Did that make sense to you? I mean, not all of us are, you know, coding experts.
Yeah, it can look intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But the main idea is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's all about preventing those mistakes.
Yeah.
Like buying a stock you already have.
Yeah.
Or trying to sell one that you don't.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there. Not a good feeling.
Nope.
So how does the code actually help with that?
Well, think of it as setting up some guardrails in your trading process.
Okay.
That in-watchlist name function we talked about, that's the key.
Right.
It checks if a stock is already on your My Portfolio list.
Got it.
So when your scan finds those potential buy signals,
Yeah.
the code only flags the stocks that aren't already in your portfolio.
Ah, so it's like filtering out the duplicates
Yeah.
before they even show up as a potential trade.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart.
And it works the same way for selling.
Oh, okay.
Only shows you sell signals for stocks you actually own.
So it's like a built-in double check
Yeah.
to make sure you're not making any slip-ups.
Right. You don't want to be selling something you don't have.
Exactly. So this is all about automating those checks.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do them manually
Mm,
and potentially make a mistake.
absolutely. Automation is your friend in trading.
It really is. And this reminds me of that color coding stuff again.
Uh-huh.
Another way to make the information easier to digest.
Visual cues are so powerful.
They really are.
It's way easier to understand a chart than a big table of numbers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The source material talked about using green for buy signals, red for sell,
Right.
like turning your data into a heat map.
Exactly. And you can even use those color gradients we were talking about before.
Oh, right.
Like a light green for a weak buy signal, and then gradually getting darker as the signal strengthens.
So you can see the different levels of, like, urgency or how strong the signal is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. And you could apply that to other indicators too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Man-CD, RSI, moving averages.
Wow.
It's all about making the data work for you.
Yeah, not the other way around.
Exactly.
I think that's a key point.
Yeah.
AmiBroker gives you all these tools,
Hmm.
but it's up to you to customize them
Yeah.
to fit your own trading style
Yeah.
and what you're comfortable with.
I totally agree. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to trading.
Speaking of customization, let's go back to that backtesting thing for a minute.
Okay.
We talked about how it's like a test run for your strategy,
Yeah.
but it's important to remember it's not a crystal ball.
Right. Just because something worked in the past
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to work in the future.
Exactly. The market's always changing on us, right?
Always. You have to be ready to adapt.
So backtesting gives you a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
But you always have to be watching the market and be ready to adjust.
And that's where that real-time exploration comes in.
Right.
Taking what you learned from backtesting and applying it to what's happening right now.
But you're also always watching for new information and making changes as needed.
Always learning, always adjusting. That's the key to successful trading.
It sounds like a never-ending process.
It kind of is, but that's what makes it exciting.
I guess so. No wonder they kept emphasizing that last day data.
Right.
Got to stay up to date to make the best decisions.
Absolutely. Now, this might seem like a lot to absorb, especially if you're new to AmiBroker.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. This training seems geared towards people who already know the basics.
Yeah, it's not really a beginner's guide.
But if you're already comfortable with AmiBroker, this is pure gold.
Oh, yeah, tons of practical tips and tricks.
And even if you're just starting out, don't worry, there are plenty of resources out there.
Right.
The training even mentioned a website called Taekwon's.
Yeah, they've got some good stuff.
I'll have to check that out.
It's always good to connect with other traders. Share ideas, get support.
Community is so important.
It really is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about finding potential stocks.
Right.
Using those scan signals and exploration filters.
Right.
And we touched on the importance of last day data, managing your portfolio.
Yep.
And even using color coding to make things easier to understand.
All key elements of a solid trading system.
And we dug into the difference between backtesting and exploration.
Right.
Really highlighting how important it is to keep learning and adapting. Because the market never stands still.
Never. It's always changing.
So what does all this mean for our listeners?
Well, I think the main takeaway is AmiBroker is an incredibly powerful tool for taking your trading to the next level.
But it's not a magic bullet.
Definitely not. You still have to put in the work.
It's not going to make you rich overnight.
No, but it can help you make smarter decisions.
Right. Successful trading takes effort, discipline, and a commitment to learning.
Absolutely.
And being open to using new tools and techniques, like the ones we talked about today.
Exactly. You always have to be growing and evolving as a trader.
Now, before we wrap up, there's something that really struck me in this training. It was this idea that AmiBroker isn't just about, finding trades. It's about building a whole trading system.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like they kept saying, don't just jump in, have a plan.
Right. Test it, execute it, the whole 9 yards.
It's like building a house. You wouldn't do that without a blueprint.
Exactly. You need that solid foundation to really understand the markets you're trading in.
And you need a set of rules to guide your decisions.
But those rules shouldn't be set in stone, right?
No, definitely not.
We've been talking about how important it is to adapt.
Right, to learn and adjust as you go.
Because the market is always throwing curveballs.
Always. AmiBroker gives you the tools to backtest and refine your approach, but you have to use them the right way and stay flexible.
So it's really that combination of human intelligence and the power of these tools that makes the difference.
Absolutely. It's not about replacing human judgment. It's about using technology to make us better traders.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I wanted to throw out one more thought.
Okay.
The source material focused on the Thai stock market.
Right.
Do you think these techniques would work in other markets, like the U.S. market or even crypto?
That's a good question. I think the basic principles of technical analysis apply pretty much everywhere.
Right.
But every market has its own quirks.
Right.
You can't just take a strategy that works in one market and expect it to work perfectly in another.
So you have to do your research and really understand how that particular market behaves.
Exactly. Each market has its own characteristics, its own types of securities, its own rules and regulations.
So it's about taking these core concepts we've discussed and tailoring them to the market you're interested in.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment and adjust your approach as you go.
Great advice. Well, I hope this deep dive has been helpful for everyone, giving you a good understanding of how to use AmiBroker to analyze stocks, develop your strategies, and make smarter decisions.
It's a powerful tool for sure.
But just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Right. You still need to manage your risk.
Stay disciplined.
Yeah, keep learning.
And if you're looking for more information, be sure to check out that Taekwon's website.
They have a ton of resources for AmiBroker users.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, happy trading.
Happy trading.